There was once a young warrior known for his strength, speed, and sharp tongue. He had won many battles, not just with weapons, but with words. He believed that victory came from being louder, faster, more forceful. One day, he heard of a silent monk who lived alone on a mountaintop. "They say nothing can shake him," people whispered. "No insult, no challenge, no threat." The warrior smirked. "We'll see about that." He climbed the mountain, sword at his side, pride in his chest, and a storm behind his eyes. When he reached the mountaintop, he found the monk sitting under a tree, eyes closed, hands resting gently on his knees. The warrior shouted, "You hide behind silence, but I'll break it." No response. He walked closer. "You think your quiet makes you wise? It makes you weak." Still the monk said nothing. The warrior circled him, throwing words like daggers, insults, mockery, provocation. "Say something," he yelled. "Defend yourself." But the monk remained still, like a mountain unmoved by wind. Finally, breath heavy, voice hoarse, the warrior fell silent. And in that silence, he heard something. Not from the monk, but from within himself. The monk slowly opened his eyes, calm, clear. "Are you finished?" he asked softly. The warrior blinked, confused. "You didn't respond, not once. Why?" The monk smiled gently. "Because your words were not for me. They were your own fire, burning in your hands. I saw no reason to catch what you were trying to throw." The warrior lowered his eyes. His anger had drained, but the silence still echoed louder than any reply. The monk continued. "Most people speak to defend their ego, not to share truth. But silence reflects. It exposes noise." The warrior said nothing. He had come to defeat the monk. But the only thing defeated was his pride. If this story moved something in you, subscribe and hit the bell. The quietest lessons often speak the loudest. The monk poured 2 cups of tea. He handed one to the warrior, who now sat quietly across from him. "In battle," the monk said, "noise distracts. In life, it does the same." The warrior stared into the cup. The steam rose gently, unbothered. "I always thought silence meant weakness," he admitted. "That if I didn't speak, I'd lose." The monk shook his head. "Words are like arrows. Once released, they can't return. Silence, however, holds no regret. It listens, it watches, it chooses." They drank. No more needed to be said. And yet, everything had been spoken. As the sun dipped behind the hills, the monk stood and motioned to the horizon. "Do you hear that?" he asked. The warrior listened. "Nothing," he said. "Exactly," the monk replied. "That nothing is everything. In that silence, your mind can breathe, your heart can return, your truth can rise." They walked slowly down a narrow path. The warrior no longer filled the space with questions or explanations. He simply observed. The breeze, the rustling leaves, the rhythm of his own footsteps. He had never noticed these sounds before. Not because they weren't there, but because he had always spoken over them. Now he listened. When the warrior reached the base of the mountain, the village looked the same, but he didn't. People still argued, shouted, demanded to be heard. But he no longer felt the urge to respond. He realized that silence wasn't the absence of voice, it was the presence of awareness, a choice, a power. He returned to his life, but now with pauses between his words, space between his thoughts. And when conflict rose, as it always does, he met it not with noise, but with presence. For he had learned something on that mountaintop. That silence is not the opposite of strength. It is strength.